Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast, season 3. Again, we are back, same crew of myself, Q, and T-Gods, the reigning champion. Unfortunately, Matt had something come up last minute, so he will be back with us next episode. So it is the same 4, but we are super excited to get back to some football. This episode marks the start of our 3rd season as a podcast. We're going to continue to bring you more content in as many ways as possible. So we'll be live pretty consistently throughout the rest of the spring and through the summer heading into the 2022 NFL season, helping you prepare to win your league. For today's episode, we're going to break down all of the offseason news in a quick format, giving you everything we know so far, the impact of some of these free agents and the rookies that are going to be making some more impacts in their new places, and overall just thoughts on these guys and what the changes mean. But with that being said, we've got a few months of moves to recap since we have not been here since January. So let's dive right in. Let's start with some trade recap and impact of some of the trades that went on this offseason. So let's start in Denver with one of the biggest trades this offseason, although there were a ton. Russell Wilson traded from the Seahawks to the Broncos. Initial reaction, and is he still a top 10 fantasy quarterback at this point?
He will probably, I think he's going to be number 10 if they're going to put him in a top 10, just because of how heavy rushing or running their offense was last year. I think it'll switch a little bit just because you brought Russ in to throw the ball, and he has some pretty solid receivers, but Javonte Williams is up and coming. I don't think they're going to shy away from him, and I think Melvin Gordon's still there, so they'll be using them a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I am excited to see Russell Wilson on a new team, but I would say I'm in the same boat in terms of where I would rank him, probably at the back half of the top 10 at best, if not right outside it in 11 or 12. Does he make any big of an impact on these wide receivers in the passing game in general? Like, do you think Russell Wilson's really going to elevate these guys to the next level? Or
yeah, anything's an improvement of what they had. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. I don't really know which one I prefer in terms of Sutton or Judy, but I do think Russell Wilson's going to take them up a notch.
Would T-Gods be higher on Noah Fant if he was still in Denver with Russell Wilson?
No.
Well, now you don't have to be because of where he is.
He's ready for some Albert O. And Greg.
No,
Dulcich.
don't say his name. God.
I don't even think we're going to talk about him later. Let's get on to the other half of this trade. The Seattle Seahawks, they got Drew Lock in return for Russell Wilson, and it seems at this point in time, it's going to be a quarterback competition between him and Geno. Who do you think ends up being the starter, and do you think they're still probably going to make a move for a quarterback?
Drew
It may
Lock.
yeah, it'll probably be him. I mean, maybe they wait and make a move on Baker later on in the season, but
Bro, I don't think he's getting picked up anywhere.
They might pick him up. I would take Baker over Drew Lock personally.
so will I. Ian, I don't even like Baker.
Like, Baker's not going to really elevate you, but Baker's proven that he can get a team to the playoffs. So I don't know. I don't know how much I would give up for him. If the Browns are like, just get him off our roster, give us a 6th round pick or something like that, I'd do it. But if they're asking for like 1st round picks or 2nd round picks, I would just rock out with Drew Lock. Anyways, how does this downgrade in quarterback really impact Lockett and Metcalf? Are these guys people you're going to be avoiding at this point in this draft, or you think they'll still be all right?
Definitely not avoiding.
Yeah,
100% I'm not avoiding them, but I don't want to say like they're looking flexy, but like, bro, like who's throwing to them? That like Drew Lock or Geno, like what, like are you really winning anywhere? Like,
Yeah.
I'd still rank them top or from the 15-20 range. We have seen Geno do well with DK last season, but I think either of these quarterbacks, you're not seeing those boom games from Tyler Lockett anymore. Because they had the potential with Russell Wilson, and neither of these guys are going to help him drop a 50 bomb.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. And I also think I'd prefer Geno because we've seen it. I don't know what Drew Lock's going to do. He's kind of wild, but that might actually give help to those Lockett boom games. But I think Lockett's going to be more boomer bust this year. I think he's going to be more of a flex rather than like the wide receiver 2 you've kind of had him at. at some points over the past couple seasons. Metcalf probably a low end wide receiver 2 rather than pushing that wide receiver 1 territory. As of now, anyways, we'll see if they make a move. But they also did get Noah Fant, T-God's favorite player in the league. Is Noah Fant a top 10 option in this offense, or is he someone you're avoiding now?
When has there ever been a top 10 tight end coming out of Seattle? And they've had Jimmy Graham, who's a million times better than Noah Fant at the time.
Yeah, and he was like borderline top 10 for most of his career there. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I would avoid Noah Fant in most formats, but I think he'll be involved, though. I think they'll try and get him involved because Lockett is getting a bit older also. Metcalf and Fant seem to be more their future.
Just use the chemistry narrative, Drew Lock to Noah Fant.
Yeah, true. They do have the chemistry compared to everyone else, but
it's not great chemistry, but
they got something. All right, let's move on to the Browns. After letting Odell Beckham Jr. go last season, and they also let Jarvis Landry walk, the Browns brought in Amari Cooper from the Cowboys to be the new number 1, while also bringing in Deshaun Watson as their new quarterback 1, barring any suspensions. Let's start with Amari Cooper. Is he a wide receiver 1 for sure if Watson is at the helm?
Absolutely.
Yes, 100% yes.
I made this argument a month ago. I think he finishes top 5 if Watson plays the whole season, or at least like when he plays, he'll have top 5 performances. But if he plays the whole season, Amari Cooper finishes top 5.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Preseason award show.
Yeah, Q's already hinting at what he's going to be taking there. But where do we see Watson among the quarterback rankings coming back? Obviously, not the greatest wide receiver core outside of Amari Cooper. He'll still have Njoku. He does still have Donovan Peoples-Jones. And I believe they drafted someone also. But where do we think Watson ends up finishing?
Top 8.
Number 5.
Top 8?
Top 8.
I think top 8's more safe. Number 5 is a little bit bold. I don't know if I'd still put him there. I mean, we've obviously seen him put up top 5 seasons with one good wide receiver, with Brandon Cooks or Will Fuller or whoever.
I was waiting.
D-Hop.
Or D-Hop and Will Fuller when Will Fuller was hurt too. So yeah, I mean, he's made it work no matter what the situation was. He was still putting up good fantasy numbers. I do think the Browns have a much better defense than the Texans did. So he may be in more games where he's up, and they're also a very good running back duo there also. So I think that impacts him a little bit. So yeah, I'd probably lean more towards top 8 than top 5, but I still think he's going to be a quarterback you're targeting in drafts.
You still have him over Russ?
Yeah, I'd put him over Russ.
I'm just making sure.
It's close though.
Is it?
It's not that close, but it's a little close.
He's over Lamar.
It also depends on the system. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I'm taking Lamar over Deshaun Watson.
He's Lamar with an arm.
It's actually close. That's actually close now too, because Hollywood no longer there either.
He wasn't really relevant anyway.
He helped a little bit. He was pretty good last year. All right, let's move on to the Washington Commanders. What a great team name, I guess.
Football team was better.
Football team was so much better than the Commanders.
Football team was actually better. Carson Wentz was shipped out of Indianapolis to Washington to be their new quarterback 1. Is he fantasy relevant at all in this offense?
He has a better receiving core than he did ever. So that's whatever. That might be saying something.
Ever?
But I don't think he's, and this isn't even that great, but it's better than what he's ever had. But
I think it's on par with what he's usually had.
He finished quarterback 14 last year, and that's
all right.
Oh, I have an argument later for someone else. I'm jumping ahead.
I
think he'll be relevant though. He'll be somewhat like last year where you're like might be scared to start him, and then he'll have a couple good weeks. But
he's a nice backup.
Yeah, nice backup, plug and play bye week fill-in for me as of right now. Does Carson Wentz really help or hurt Terry McLaurin at this point?
I think we're asking about the wrong person hurting McLaurin. I think it's Dotson.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about Dotson in a little bit when we get to the rookies for
McLaurin, sure. I think, because anything's better than Heineke.
Yeah, I think he helps McLaurin a little bit too, but I don't think it's like that noticeable of an upgrade that McLaurin's like boosted into like wide receiver 1 talk right now. All right, let's move on to another big trade for the Las Vegas Raiders. Devontae Adams, arguably the best wide receiver in football right now, was shipped out of Green Bay to reunite with his college quarterback, Derek Carr, as the Raiders wide receiver 1. Start with Adams. Does this help or hurt him? And how does this impact the other pass catchers there?
feel like it's hard to tell. Like, obviously, the Raiders have more weapons than the Packers did when Adams was there, but like Adams still great.
Yeah.
It definitely hurts them though. Like
I would
definitely
yeah.
hurts them. He's losing
Technically, it
Aaron
hurts him.
Rodgers. Like years and years of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I would say it definitely hurts them. Obviously, it's nice to go back to play with your college quarterback. They were really good friends at Fresno State. But at the same time, there's way more competition there with Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow also. I do think this impacts Renfrow mightily. I don't think Renfrow is going to be as consistent, but I do think he'll still be in that flex conversation. But Waller's volume is definitely going to come down, I think also. I think
and we already saw that last year.
Yeah. And most of those heavy target games are going to be heavy targets for Adams, not Waller or Renfrow, would be my guess. For Derek Carr, he now has an elite wide receiver one. We've seen him perform when he does have a very solid wide receiver core a few years ago with Crabtree and Cooper. Is he a top 12 quarterback?
No.
I don't. I think I'd put him over Russ at that 10 spot. I think I would. I really think I always like Derek Carr. You guys know this.
Yeah.
It's just like so many weapons. He can't fail.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think he's definitely going to have a very good season.
He's always been like consistently like all right.
Yeah.
Like he's never been terrible.
No.
He's always
he's had a couple years where he was like,
all right,
like he's not like
calm down.
Terrible for the NFL, but terrible for fantasy, maybe like 20th.
No.
I just couldn't see myself dying to scoop Derek Carr.
That was a fluke year, dude.
Yeah, I'd put him around 12. 12 to 14 feels very safe for Derek Carr. And then if he does end up being top 10, you get some good upside with Adams.
I'm still taking Kirk over him.
No, that's anything to say, dude. No.
That's
Kirk is just as good.
Derek Carr, no.
Yeah,
like,
but Kirk's had those weapons.
This big argument about who would you rather have like leading your franchise, Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins?
Oh, that's different.
No.
Leading the franchise, but like just playing, he doesn't have to speak, then I'm taking Kirk.
Was that not you I was arguing with?
Probably not.
Maybe with Matt and Dape. They
Yeah.
were both telling me Kirk over Derek Carr, and I wasn't having it.
Not to lead my franchise now.
Yes.
But like for fantasy, Kirk is over Derek Carr for most years.
Wait, so you're saying to lead your franchise?
No,
who?
to lead my franchise, I'm taking Carr. Like
Okay,
I'd rather.
Thank you.
To win me a game, I'm taking Kirk Cousins in real life or in fantasy.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about
like
that.
Derek Carr was actually one of the most clutch quarterbacks last year. I think he had the most comebacks in the NFL. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
Suck it.
We'll
You're
see.
not wrong, but you're
I
not
think
right.
Derek Carr will be good. Moving on to the Colts. After trading away Carson Wentz, they needed a quick replacement quarterback, so they went out and snagged aging veteran Matt Ryan from the Falcons. Does he really change this offense much? Like, will this impact Michael Pittman at all, or is it probably going to be status quo?
I think it'd basically be the same.
I do actually think it'll be like exactly the same.
Maybe less mistakes, a few.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, Matt Ryan does have those games where he'll just start throwing picks too. So I wouldn't be shocked if those come. But I would agree. I think it's going to stay pretty much the same. They're not going to try and make Matt Ryan into MVP Matt Ryan again at this point in his career. So just handle the ball, don't make stupid turnovers, and run the ball to Jonathan Taylor. So I think I'd rank Pittman similar, whether it would be Wentz or Matt Ryan.
When was the last time Matt Ryan had like a real running back? Like prime
Devontae
Devontae Freeman?
Michael Turner. I don't even know if he was there then.
I would say Devontae Freeman probably. I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
think
what's
of anyone
last?
else
Me neither.
who was
Todd
there.
Gurley.
Yeah, he had Gurley, but Gurley was
Oh.
not like in his prime.
He
like-
was that.
Yeah, he had his.
I was after
broken
multiple
knees and stuff.
injuries. So yeah, it's got to
Matt
be
Ryan's
Freeman.
probably excited, bro. Probably like I don't got to do anything.
Yeah, it'll be definitely easier for him and win more games than
He
Atlanta
deserves
did.
it.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy there.
MVP, Matt Ryan.
Yeah, MVP. Let's move on to the Titans. So the Rams had a stockpile of wide receivers, and the Titans knew AJ Brown was unhappy. We'll get to AJ Brown in a bit. So they traded for an aging Robert Woods. Is Robert Woods going to fit in well as the wide receiver one here in Tennessee, or is he pushing closer towards retirement?
Bobby Woods is nice.
Yeah. I think he's going to be like a low end wide receiver too. I could be being generous, but I do feel better about him with AJ Brown not there.
Yeah. I mean, he was very good last year before he got hurt. Like he was putting up very
Yeah.
solid numbers alongside Cooper Cup. So obviously he still had it. Major injury stinks. ACL is really tough to come back from. Early in his career, when he was trying to be the wide receiver one, he was a bit inconsistent, but I think he's obviously improved since then. I'd feel comfortable with him as a wide receiver two.
Yeah, super duper
Low
solid wide
two.
receiver two. No question about it.
Yeah. The only thing that would concern me is the ACL and how he recovers from it and how ready he is going to be week one and whatnot.
Who, Hollywood or Robert Woods?
Robert Woods, 100%.
Yeah, I'd probably take Robert Woods. Although Hollywood for the first 6 weeks, I'd probably take.
Does it make sense to compare him with like D-Hop?
Dude, I don't even know what to think. First of all, he's suspended for 6 games. So that already like puts him in a weird spot where you're not drafting him until like later.
What did he do?
PEDs. Yeah, he's suspended the first 6 games. That's why I said I'd take Hollywood first 6 weeks.
Like a month ago, maybe. No, it's right before the draft, right? And then they got Hollywood.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about Hollywood in a second too. But yeah, Robert Woods, overall, I think he's a solid wide receiver too. I don't really know who I'd compare him to yet. We'll probably do a rankings episode in a bit, in a few weeks here, just to kind of get our rankings out there and then finalize them closer to the season. Let's move on to the Miami Dolphins. In a shocking twist of events, Tyreek Hill kind of won it out of Kansas City, and in a matter of like hours, it felt like he was traded right to the Dolphins for a huge haul for the Chiefs. Tyreek's obviously going to make a big impact on this offense, but is he still a top 5 wide receiver in this offense?
No.
No, dude. No,
top 10,
but
yes.
It's not
Definitely
his fault.
top 10.
Not his fault. It's the quarterback's fault.
Probably like 7 or 8 for me.
7 or 8, but he still has that potential to be number 1. 100% he does.
Yeah, I would agree with that also. I would definitely agree with that. It's tough right now. It's really tough in terms of like just deciding, is he really going to be that guy there, especially since they also have Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki. How does Tyreek Hill kind of affect their value?
I think Gesicki stays around the same, like right outside top 10. But I think Waddle's a top 15 wide receiver. I think they benefit each other pretty well.
Is Will Fuller still there?
No, I think he's a free agent.
No, yeah, you're right. I think he is a free agent. I don't think anyone signed him. He might actually retire, to be honest.
He probably should.
Just come to the Eagles.
I love that man.
Yeah, people have been rumoring that like he could be the wide receiver 2 for the Browns since
Oh my God,
there.
that would be fucking awesome.
But we'll see if he's even healthy enough to get on the field. Hopefully, it would be nice to see him get a resurgence because he was fun to watch. But Q, I would agree. I still think Waddle's going to be good. I'm still pretty high on him as a solid wide receiver too. Also, and then Tyreek Hill, more low end wide receiver 1 than high end, but I think he'll still be a solid top 8 wide receiver. Also, we did mention the quarterback Tua. How does adding Tyreek Hill to his repertoire impact him? Is he pushing top 12 status, or is it wait and see?
It's definitely wait and see, and he should be good. But there's that video that came out like where he threw like a punt return to Tyreek Hill. That's how bad it looked. So it's more up to Tua if he wants to use these weapons that he has. But he hasn't really shown that he could be top 12.
I'll put him right at 15. I'll put him at the 15 mark.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's in that same tier where you're taking a flyer as a backup with him or Trey Lance, or you're leaning towards some more safe backup with Kirk Cousins. I think I'd take the risk on Tua there for sure. So many weapons there. If he's going to break out, it's going to be this year. If he doesn't, you cut bait, throw him on waivers. You're not spending a high pick on him anyways. So next trade, in a quiet trade after Miami crowded their wide receiver room, they traded away Devontae Parker. Could he find resurgence in New England, or will he just blend in with the other guys there with Myers, Aguilar, and Kendrick Bourne?
He's the most talented of the 3, but I think he'll be blending in just because I think Mac is still not that good.
Yeah, and I still think they want to run the ball too.
Definitely.
Yeah, with their 7 running backs.
Yeah,
Dude, so many.
Yeah, I'm really not in love with Devontae Parker being on the Patriots. I mean, I would agree he's probably the best talent-wise, but I think they do also really like Kendrick Bourne. He did pretty well last year. Myers also played pretty decent. Aguilar is still going to be in the mix. So,
Bro, like, are you drafting anyone on the Patriots?
Maybe
Damian
their
Harris.
defense.
That's about it.
Defense is usually solid.
Yeah, defense too, for sure. But yeah, I would probably stick to maybe Hunter Henry as a late tight end flyer.
Oh, I forgot he existed.
Jonnu?
Not Jonnu. Hunter Henry proved he was the better one last year. So, and Mac Jones' favorite red zone target there too.
I'd probably take a risk on Greg DeLuche than Hunter Henry or any of those tight ends on that team.
No way. I'd take Hunter Henry. But I also like Damian Harris a little bit. I think he's a solid RB2. But yeah, passing wise, I'm probably avoiding the Patriots. Let's move on to Arizona. As Q hinted at earlier, in another crazy trade, the Ravens sent their wide receiver 1, Hollywood Brown, packing to Arizona so he could reunite with his college quarterback also in Kyler Murray. Does this have an impact on Kyler's value at all, or is he still about the same?
Definitely still the same.
Yeah.
Still the same for me.
Yeah. I think he's just going to fill that Christian Kirk role, except a little bit better.
I'll wait till week 1 and I have some evidence to like hate on Kyler, but he might not even be playing. He might play baseball. I mean, he'll play for a playoff team or something.
Oh, he's playing.
Do you guys know
baby.
what Kyler finished last year?
7, I think. He was top 5 throughout the first half, and then as the Cardinals fell apart, he fell apart. Oh yeah, he also got hurt, so he was not 7. He finished 10th.
Oh,
but he missed 3 games. So
I don't like him.
Take that for what you will.
Well, I mean, you can't really go down anymore from that.
Yeah,
he was being drafted like top 3.
Well, yeah, I was piping him up, and he was good. And he got banged up again, and tough. Hopefully, he could stay healthy this year. I still like Kyler a lot. But where does this move Hollywood for you? He will be the number 1 there, as I mentioned, for the first 6 weeks as they wait for DeAndre Hopkins to come back. But as a whole, even after that, like, what does his value look like?
The same as it was in Baltimore. Maybe when D-Hop's back, it might go lower. I don't think he's going to be any better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would actually, I'd probably say it's probably about the same as it was in Baltimore, considering he was the wide receiver 1 there.
And they still have Ertz.
Yeah, they'll still have Ertz. They still have AJ Green, I think. They re-signed him. They also have Rondell Moore in his second year.
Where's Andy Isabella? Do they still have him?
I think he's still there too. I think he's their 5th. So
Jesus.
Yeah, they're still pretty deep at wide receiver. But I think Hollywood will be in that flex territory, wide receiver 2, maybe while D-Hop's out. But I think when D-Hop's back, probably more of a flex. All right, for the Birds, in the final crazy trade of the first round of
best
the draft.
Best offseason this year.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Eagles traded away their pick to the Titans and some additional later picks for A.J. Brown. And he immediately will come in and be the wide receiver 1 on this offense. But is this a downgrade fantasy-wise for A.J. Brown going from Tennessee to Philly?
I'd put Hurts over Tannehill. So I think that's an upgrade right there, quarterback. And then, it's upgrade regardless. I don't think Devontae Smith is going to impact his value or make it go down. As long as he's healthy, he's going to be top 10. I think he'll finish top 10.
I think he's about the same value for me as I had come. I was a little bit skeptical with Julio as the number 2. Obviously, Julio ended up doing nothing last year, and A.J. Brown was just fine. But I think Devontae Smith's a little bit more of a challenge. They still have Goddard as well. And this is still a team that's going to want to run the ball a lot with Hurts running himself, but also trying to get whoever is in the backfield to run the ball. So I think we're going to be forced to throw more. And I think A.J. Brown's going to reap the benefits of that. But I think it's kind of a lateral move in terms of his value. Like, I don't think this pushes him into the top 5 for me, but I still think he's going to be a low-end wide receiver 1.
I don't think I'll ever have him in my top 5 just because how often he gets hurt. Like that, you still got to remember that. Like, he gets hurt like every single year.
Yeah, still concerned for sure. Also, hoping he can stay healthy.
And every Eagles player gets hurt every year.
Very true,
including their feelings,
including my feelings as a fan.
Yeah.
How does this affect Devontae Smith though? We were probably expecting big target share volume for him, and now with AJ Brown, is he someone you're targeting at all?
He's still like a top 30 wide receiver, possibly top 25. I feel better about him now with AJ Brown on the team than I did before, because that's like, who else were the opponents going to worry about besides Jalen Reagor? No. And Quez Watkins is just like, you wish that he's good.
Devontae Smith or Tyler Lockett?
Tyler Lockett. Lockett. Lock
So
it for me.
close.
or Renfro.
Juicy
I'd probably take
Renfro,
Devontae.
100%.
That's close. I'd probably take Smith in that one. Adam Thielen.
Thielen.
He's
Thielen.
old, man. I'm
I
scared
know.
to take him. I'm scared he's like lost a step.
He like aged 10 years in one season, I think.
Yeah,
Suddenly everyone just looks at him as like a grandpa
he is
because
old.
of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. We'll see. Devonta Smith obviously affects his value more of a flex option than a wide receiver too, like he could have been. Jalen Hurts, Q obviously said he likes him. We all like him here, but does this make him a top 8 quarterback, top 5 for fantasy? What are we thinking?
What did he finish last year?
I think he finished pretty high.
I think he
Like
did
11, I think.
No way, it was 11.
I thought he finished top 5 for some reason
He
because
was
he was like
ninth.
1 for so long.
9th?
9.
Then yeah,
Like
I'll take him top 8.
certified top 8.
I might push him towards my top 5.
He runs well. That's good, valuable in fantasy, and now he has an actual weapon,
Yeah.
elite weapon.
Yeah. I think he takes that next step this year, and I think he might be a top 5 guy for me. We'll see when we come out with our final rankings. Let's go to the last trade here before we get into some free agents. In the most recent trade, the Raiders wide receiver room was a bit crowded after getting Devontae Adams. Also, so they traded away Brian Edwards to the Falcons. Brian Edwards had never really made much of an impact on the Raiders, but now with Pitts and London being the only options there and London being unproven, does Brian Edwards hold any value?
No, because I barely hold any value to the other guys besides Pitts and London, just because Mariota's the quarterback.
Yeah, I would agree. I've never been a big Brian Edwards believer, and I don't know if this really takes his career to the next step, but he is only 23. He has shown flashes. So if there's a chance, he now has the opportunity. I think he's worth a late round flyer, maybe. All right, let's move on to free agent moves. We'll do these a bit quicker here with some cap or no cap with new faces in new places. We've got some kind of just some predictions, I guess you could say, and we'll go with cap or no cap from there. So let's start with the Jaguars. Christian Kirk will be a top 25 wide receiver with Trevor Lawrence at the helm and Dougie Peterson as his head coach. Cap or no cap?
Cap, yeah. Sorry.
He's getting paid like a top 5 receiver, though.
He is getting paid hefty, but yeah, I would say cap also. I would think maybe top 35, but top 25 is pushing it a little bit.
T-ball doo-doo. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had to get it. Like, I couldn't
I'm not
go
gonna say
on
that.
without saying it.
I think Lawrence is going to be better this year, but I don't think he's going to be game breaker or anything like that.
How many wins do they get this year?
6.
5.
They play the
Doug
Eagles
Peterson,
here.
the Doug Peterson effect.
Oh, dude, we're gonna lose to lose to the worst teams.
And it's Doug. Of course, we're going to lose to Doug.
Yeah,
He's going to want revenge.
I would too.
Is it home?
It's home for the Eagles, I think.
People are gonna come just to see Doug.
I hope we give Doug a standing O. right.
Easily will.
Yeah, we're going to have to. All right.
He has a statue outside, bro.
All right. One more thing for the Jags. Evan Ingram, they also signed. Evan Ingram will get back into relevancy as a top 10 tight end for the Jaguars. Cap or no cap?
Slight cap. I don't think it'll be top 10, but Dan Arnold last year had some success with Trevor Lawrence. So I think Ingram's better than Arnold, so he could be relevant some weeks. The bye week filling guy.
Like, when was the last time Ingram was like healthy for a whole season? Ever?
Rookie year, I think.
Was he healthy last year and just stunk?
No way. He was that bad last year.
I think his only
No
touchdown
way.
was like a rushing touchdown.
He missed 3 games last year.
He was just stinky.
Yeah, he was just stinky. Ew.
Yeah, he missed only 3 games last year, and he was 24th. So he was just bad.
All right. 16. Lock him in.
Yeah,
That's a big jump.
he's not top 10. He's
New
the top.
team. New team.
Yeah, new team. I think they'll
I
try to
believe
get
it.
him involved, but yeah, no. His days of being predicted as a top 10 tight end are far beyond him.
They've been gone.
All right. Moving on to Miami. Despite all of the running backs added to Miami, Chase Edmonds will still be the running back to own over Raheem Mostert, Myles Gaskin, and Sony Michel. Cap or no cap?
No cap. I don't even want to consider the other guys, especially
No cap.
Gaskin. That
No
dude's a
cap.
headache.
He is, dude. Remember it was like back and forth every week last year?
Every odd week.
Every odd week.
Went off.
Yeah, dude. Miles Gaskin, I'm staying far away from. Mostert, I'm hoping they're probably just going to limit his usage because if you give him any type of volume, he's going to get hurt, which is unfortunate because he is talented. And Sony Michel was an interesting late add also, but I think he's more of just like the goal line bruiser kind of back they're going to use him as. So I think Edmonds is going to get any passing game work. I think he'd be the one I'd want to. For the Detroit Lions, DJ Chark finds a career resurgence in Detroit and finishes as a top 30 wide receiver for the season.
No cap. No cap.
All right, 2 no caps. I was actually kind of torn on this
3?
one, but I think I'll go with you. I'll say no cap.
Thank you.
I was torn, but I'm obviously a big DJ Chark guy myself. A lot of the rankings really are not favoring him to have a good season at all. But Jameson Williams still coming off this ACL. I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact right away. I think Amon-Ra is still might be the one I'd lean towards owning.
Oh yeah,
he was so good. But I do think Chark could also be pretty solid there.
Yeah, I think Chark is the least talented of the 3, but I do have trust in him finishing top 30. Maybe it'll be 30.
Actually kind of tough. Maybe like 35. I'd feel more confident.
Bro, they're going to be throwing all the time.
Bro, wide receivers kind of deep. All right, let me give you some guys that are ranked around 30 right now.
Okay.
All right. DJ Chark, or obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown, we said him. Mike Williams. Elijah Moore. Rashad Bateman.
Chark.
That one I'd probably go Bateman. Bateman is the only wide receiver right now in the Ravens.
Ever heard of Devin Duvernay?
Tyler Lockett.
It's easy.
Renfro.
Oh my
Devonta
God.
Smith.
All right. Did you start at 30?
Yeah. I'm at
Okay.
36.
Top 40 for Chark.
Yeah, wide receiver is kind of deep. Like some of the, well, there's also guys above him that I might not have that high. These aren't my rankings. These are just some basic rankings I'm looking at for now. But yeah, I think he could finish top 30, but top 35, I'd feel a little bit more confident. All right, let's move on to the Giants. An interesting name that's been around forever. Ricky Seals-Jones will quietly finish as a top 12 tight end this year, replacing Evan Ingram as the Giants' number 1 tight end.
Cap.
No cap. I think they miss having a good tight end.
I would agree. I think I'm going to say no cap too. I think he's maybe not.
Ricky still got it, bro.
12's tough for me because there's obviously some good tight ends out there too.
Yeah.
You'd rather have Noah Fant?
No.
All right. Thanks.
I'd rather have Noah Fant.
No, you wouldn't.
But I'd rather have Mike Gesicki.
Logan Thomas.
No, I wouldn't rather have him.
No,
I'd rather have
plays
Pat
like one game
Fryermuth.
and
I'd rather
dies.
have Ertz. I'd rather have
Schultz.
Dawson Knox. I'd rather have Schultz. Definitely. I'd rather have Schultz is top 8
Schultz
for me.
noise.
Cole Kmet. He's pushing it.
No, stop it.
Hunter Henry.
Robert Tonyan.
Ew, no, Tunyon. Tunyon was
There's no wide
bad.
receivers there.
CJ Uzama on the Jets.
Stop. All right. I'd rather have Ricky Seals-Jones over Uzama. All right. He'll be in that 12 to 15 range probably. All right. Chicago Bears. The Bears added 2 quiet free agents in Equanimous St. Brown and Byron Pringle, but neither will get in the way of Darnell Mooney finishing as a top 20 wide receiver. Cap or no cap?
No cap. Justin Fields is the only one that's going to get in the way of him finishing top 20.
Say no cap.
20?
20's tough though.
20's really tough.
Where was he last year?
We were just talking to the people.
He was
below
23rd
30.
last year.
Yeah,
I'd put him above all those guys we were talking about.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would too, but I'm saying like they're still like
They
some
are
of them
so good.
could
Yeah.
do better. Like could.
Yeah. I got him at he's 23rd last year. Just to give you some guys around 20 right now. Amari Cooper somehow is ranked 18th on this list.
Easy top 10. Stop.
I think
Brandon
they're just
Cooks.
assuming Watson. I'd take Cooks.
Terry McLaurin.
Terry.
That's a toss up for me. I think I'm going Mooney over Terry.
Stop.
Terry was so bad last year. Don't you remember?
Yeah, but he has a
You
better
had him,
quarterback.
but he was still very inconsistent.
Oh, trust me. I remember having Terry. I traded Jamar Chase for him.
Michael Thomas.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
we
know
about him.
I don't know. Yeah.
The Broncos wide receivers, Sutton, Judy,
I would take Mooney. Close.
Chris Godwin.
Godwin.
Probably take Godwin. Yeah, he's probably around 20. I'm still confident he's going to be top 20 guy. I just like his talent, and there's nobody there to take targets away from him. So, all right, Tampa Bay Bucks also quietly added Russell Gage, cap or no cap. Russell Gage carves out a consistent fantasy role with the Bucks and will finish as a top 30 wide receiver.
Cap.
Top 35.
I'd say top 40. 30's cap for me.
All right,
30's
so
too high.
You
I like
guys
Russell
know I
Gage,
love
but
Russell Gage.
it's going to be tough for him to crack into that.
Dunkin' Donut, Russell Gage.
Oh, yeah. I do think with Brady, though, Brady is going to elevate him for sure.
I hope so. I hope we can see like what Gage can really do.
Yeah. And like he's got guys around him. He's going to be open. Mike Evans, Godwin.
And he could
Gronk.
learn a lot from him.
Yeah. We shall see for Russell Gage. The next one here, Dallas Cowboys. James Washington will take over the wide receiver 2 role in the Dallas Cowboys offense from Michael Gallup and finish inside the top 35 wide receivers, cap or no cap.
Cap. Move on.
Cap.
Yeah, that's ultimate cap. That was bold. I don't even know why I wrote that one.
That was so bold. Gallup is so good.
James Washington was pretty good too, but yeah, top 35 was just pushing it to the limit.
I think Gallup could be a wide receiver 1 on the team and like succeed. I really think he could, bro. Gallup is him. He is him.
We'll see. I want to see what he does in this wide receiver 2 role again because they drafted a wide receiver to get him out of that role. So we'll see. Let's move on to the Chiefs, who had a busy offseason. Let's start with Juju Smith-Schuster. Cap or no cap, he finds a healthy career resurgence with Mahomes and finishes as top 25 wide receiver.
I'm going to say no cap because there's no Tyreek Hill and Kelsey's like going like a very, very tiny decline. You saw it. I called it.
You did call it.
But
He said he wasn't going to be number 1.
Mahomes is still good. And Juju, I guess, can be good too. I don't want to call him good, but he's going to probably be good.
I'll go along with the no cap. We've seen what Juju can do. Juju's a good player. He just had, a little
hiccup in his career.
Hiccup's a good word. Yeah. No, Patrick Mahomes will get him back on track.
I agree with
And
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, I was gonna say him and Jackson could make some TikToks and stuff.
Yeah, no thanks for that one. But I'm going to say no cap too. I do think I'm going to rank him around 25. I don't know exactly for sure, but I do think he can definitely be top 25 this year with Mahomes. Marquez Valdez-Scantling also signed with the Chiefs, but will be a major headache in lineups. Finishing the season as a top 40 wide receiver, major boomer bust guy, cap or no cap. Is that what happens? Kind of that one weird.
No cap as a boomer bust guy.
Definitely.
Top 40. I don't even want to like rank him. So
That's like my 5th or 6th wide receiver.
Yeah. Like
and you probably would never start him.
And
And you only
I'd
start him on
probably
like a
just-
bye-week flex.
I would
But
like try and make a trade and I'll be like,
Yeah,
I'll
here's
throw
a
you an
bone.
MVS bone.
Yeah. I might say no cap just because like he's going to have like 3 games this year with like 35 fantasy points with Mahomes. And then he's going to have like 15 duds.
35?
Maybe not 35, but he'll have like games where he just catches a couple of long passes from Mahomes somehow. Like Byron Pringle had 2 touchdown games in certain games last year. So
You're right. People try to throw me a Byron Pringle bone.
exactly.
No, don't want that.
Mecole Hardman bone.
Yeah, dude, I don't want any of those bones.
All right, last one here. Ronald Jones coming over from Tampa Bay will take over as the RB1 for the Chiefs and finishes as a top 25 running back.
No cap because
No
they'll do
cap.
anything to get CEH off the field.
Dude,
We
he
saw it last
sucks.
year.
That was one of the biggest busts of all time, dude. I drafted him with like my 8th pick like
Yeah.
2 years ago, and I regretted it ever since.
I'm going to say cap just because I don't know if I fully believe in Ronald Jones. I think CH is still going to be involved. It's going to be tough. All right, let's move on. The Rams, despite last year's disappointment, Allen Robinson should be trusted again with Matt Stafford as a top 20 wide receiver option. Cap or no cap?
No cap.
Cap.
Sorry,
Top
go
30
on.
for me is a lock. Top 20.
That was the only reason I said cap because we just heard like the people around top 20, like Amari Cooper, like no shot he's finishing over Amari Cooper. Like,
Well, that was a weird rank.
okay,
I think
that was a weird one, but
I think his best quarterback he's ever played with, and even if OBJ was playing, I would still take a Rob over him. We've seen him be consistent, like top 10 in every year besides last year. He's going to be top 20. He'll be
Not-
top 17.
Wow.
I'm only adding
on
3
A-Rod.
more guys, but that's how much of a hot take.
It's top 30 for me for sure. Top 20, I'm going to say Cap for now. Atlanta, Marcus Mariota will fail as quarterback in Atlanta and should not be considered as a draftable quarterback. Cap or no cap?
No
Okay.
cap. No cap. Next.
I agree. I'd like to see what he can do, but I just don't see it happening. I think they'll probably fault to the rookie sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to see what he could do. I'd like to watch them get blown out again.
Exactly. All right. For Green Bay, Sammy Watkins will find some new life with Aaron Rodgers and be a consistent flex option, finish in top 35. Cap or no cap?
Cap. Only week 1.
Couple
I
weeks
agree
he'll do it.
exactly with Q. No, week 1,
Cap
snap.
though.
He'll finish week 1 as the wide receiver 1, and then just every
That
week.
might be it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying cap also. Cap for sure. Last but not least, the Saints added Jarvis Landry. Cap or no cap, he will earn a big payday after this season with the Saints finishing as a top 25 wide receiver again with Jameis.
Cap.
I hope though.
I'm going to say cap too. As much as I love Jarv,
Allen
top
Robinson's
25 is
finishing over
pushing
him.
it. I'd probably rank Allen Robinson over him, but I'd probably put Jarv around the top 30, top 35 rather than probably
PPR
where he's being
monster
ranked.
though. PPR monster.
I believe in him, but if Michael Thomas is actually going to be playing, it's going to take away from some
And
of his value
Olave.
for sure. And Olave and Kamara and Jameis Winston being quarterback.
And Taysom Hill.
Yeah. I think Jarv will be involved. I still think he'll be a solid flex, but top 25 is pushing it. All right.
And Adam Troutman.
And Adam Troutman.
I was trying to figure out who their
Just
tight end's
naming
name was.
everyone on earth at this point.
Everyone over Jarv.
Stop. All right. Let's move on to some rookies. Let's start with the quarterbacks since there really wasn't that many this year. We're just going to go. Will any of these quarterbacks find top 15 quarterback success this season? Kenny Pickett, yes or no?
No. He might, only because like I see the list and I think he might be the only one that's going to play out of all of them.
Who is
So
he
let's-
throwing to?
Yeah,
Claypool,
He's got Deontay Johnson and Claypool. And
All right,
Freiermuth.
Freiermuth, Najee.
Smooth.
And Najee. He's got a good team around him. I think they've
All right.
improved the O-line a little bit too.
I forgot. I forgot that Juju was like the worst receiver on the team.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say, let's consider this. If they don't start week 1, will they be a top 15 quarterback on like points per game basis, I guess? Like if they do take over, will they have some success? Kenny Pickett, I would say yes. Desmond Ridder for the Falcons.
No.
No.
Maybe, but I highly doubt it.
No. Maybe if
Mo-
Ridley was playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Maybe if Ridley comes back.
The gambler.
Malik
gambling?
Willis.
No.
Mm.
I would say no. Matt Corral.
No.
Coral. I think it's Corral.
No, it's Corral.
I'm
No.
going to say yes for Matt.
Maybe.
I think he's taken over that job pretty quick. And he has DJ Moore, maybe a washed up Robbie Anderson, but Robbie Anderson and McCaffrey hopefully healthy in the backfield.
we
So-
need him back.
Yeah.
Him back. The NFL is better with McCaffrey.
So I'm going to say
Sorry.
yes for Corral. I think at some point, maybe even a streak of a few weeks, he'll be a top 15 guy at points per game basis. Last but not least, Sam Howell for the
No.
football team Commanders.
No.
Maybe if Wentz goes down.
Yeah,
Per
he has to go
usual.
down.
What if Wentz gets benched
He's not going to get benched.
for the guy that doesn't eat steak, only eats chicken tendies?
That's no.
All right, let's move on to some rookie competition. So there's a lot of rookies added into some crowded spots. So let's do some calmer chaos for the guys that they're trying to take over. Let's start with Breece Hall being drafted to the New York Jets. Breece Hall was obviously the number 1 running back drafted. Had a pretty solid season, 1,400 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. Also added 36 catches, 23 touchdowns. And he did not miss a game for 3 years. So he's pretty much NFL ready. Is this calmer chaos for Michael Carter for the Jets?
I guess chaos. I don't know. I think that they'll both still play the same similar role. It's the Jets.
I'm going to say chaos for Carter. I think Breece Hall, not right away, takes over that job, but we're not going to see the volume we could have seen with Michael Carter for sure.
It's more chaos than if they drafted Bryce Hall.
I would agree with that. All right, let's move on to Kenneth Walker being drafted as the 2nd running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Is this calm or chaos for an aging Chris Carson? And what about Rashad Penny?
I'm calm, at least for Penny.
So you're not calm for Carson. You don't think Carson's going to be the starter?
I don't even know. I thought he was going to retire.
I feel like it's always chaos around Chris Carson, regardless of who else is coming. Like,
Yeah. I don't know what Carson's injury status is right now, but I would think it's chaos for both of them personally. I think Kenneth Walker is super talented, 1,600 yards in college, probably arguably the best running back in the class with Breece Hall. And I think they're going to want to come in and pound the rock, and he's going to be the healthiest guy to do it. I think Rashad Penny's already hurt. I think he already has a hamstring injury or something. And
I saw that.
Or in OTAs. So I'm going to say chaos for Carson and Penny. Last running back here to go through real quick before we get into some deeper takes. James Cook heads to Buffalo as the third running back off the board. This is calm or chaos for Devin Singletary and I guess Zach Moss, but he's kind of irrelevant at this point.
Hey, well, I guess it's chaos, but neither of them should be playing anyways. Just be Cook. They're both ass.
Singletary actually turned up a little bit at the end of last year.
Give a fuck.
He
still
did,
sucks.
Yeah, I don't love either of them. I was a big Zach Moss believer last year, and it didn't do me anything.
Yeah, I would say chaos probably, definitely for Zach Moss. He might not even be worth rostering, even in like a dynasty league. But Singletary staying calm. He's going to be involved, but I think it's a little bit chaotic. James Cook they're probably going to try and get him involved at least halfway through this season. All right, let's move on to wide receivers. Since we don't really have anyone that Drake London's going to be taking targets away from, is this cap or no cap? Quick extra cap or no cap here. Drake London immediately steps up and becomes a top 25 wide receiver in Atlanta.
Cap. Only just based off the names you named earlier. I can't see him being that good.
Yeah,
I would agree. I'm saying cap also. But I do think he is a very interesting flex because his only competition for targets is going to be Kyle Pitts and like Zacchaeus. And they added a couple older, I don't even know what their wide receiver room looks like at this point, but it's ugly to say the least. So yeah, Brian Edwards too. Drake London, I think he's going to be a solid flex. For the second one here, a little bit more interesting. Garrett Wilson, the second wide receiver off the board to the Jets. Is this calm or chaos for Elijah Moore and also for Corey Davis?
Chaos for Corey Davis, I guess. Elijah Moore, I think he'll be fine with Garrett.
I would agree. I think those are going to be the top two as the season gets going. Corey Davis is definitely chaos for me at this point.
Do they still have Crowder?
No, he is on somewhere new.
Doesn't matter.
He's actually in somewhere where he's kind of relevant, I think. He is on the Bills.
Oh,
so he'll be like the Cole
That's
Beasley
interesting.
there. Yeah, and they I don't think they re-signed Sanders either.
No, he's retired, I think.
Yeah, so Crowder could be pretty interesting there. But yeah, calm for Elijah Moore. I think him and Garrett Wilson are going to be a solid duo as long as Zach Wilson can throw the ball. Chris Olave, third wide receiver off the board. Is this calm or chaos for Michael Thomas and then Jarvis Landry?
Sure, chaos. I don't know what Michael Thomas is, and Landry is not a number one. I think Olave could be a number one. So that'd make him number 3.
Wow. I'm saying calm for both. I don't think Olave is going to come in and make that immediate impact. I think maybe a year away or so. But I'm still chaos on Michael Thomas as a whole because I have no idea what he's doing and if he's going to be ready to play football.
If he comes back, do you think he just goes back to being Michael Thomas?
I don't know. He has Jameis Winston now.
Slant, man.
I know.
Like, does he become a deep threat now because Jameis is just going to throw it up to him?
I haven't seen him run in years.
Yeah, I don't even know what he looks like anymore.
He could be fat now.
Who
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten old. Like, he was like a young phenom, and now he's 29. Like,
Jesus, how long has he been out? I thought he was 21. Like, you had that slant man year.
Yeah, he was. That was 2019 when he was the number 1 wide receiver.
It seems so long ago.
We're heading into 2022, so he's basically he played half a season in 2020, no games in 2021. So
wow,
almost 2 years removed from football. So it's going to be tough for him to really come back. Let's move on to the fourth wide receiver. Jameson Williams goes to the Lions. Obviously coming off a torn ACL, but when he comes back, is he going to be calm or chaos for St. Brown or Chark?
This whole like everything there is chaos, in my opinion. Like nobody knows who's gonna be the number one.
I'm going to say St. Brown. I'm more calm than Chark. As much as I love Chark,
Well, yeah.
I think Jameson Williams might take more work away from DJ Chark than he would Amon-Ra St. Brown, because St. Brown and Goff really developed a connection by the end of his rookie year. And both of them, I would argue, are probably more important to their future than DJ Chark is on a 1-year deal. So,
yeah.
All right. And the last wide receiver that we'll do for calm or chaos, Jahan Dotson, as Q mentioned earlier, goes as the 5th wide receiver to the Commanders. Calm or chaos for Terry McLaurin. And does this mean irrelevancy for Curtis Samuel?
Definitely irrelevancy for Curtis Samuel, and I guess somewhat chaos because Dotson looks like he could be good, but Terry is still the number one.
Yeah, Terry's definitely still the number one.
Yeah, I'm going to stay calm on Terry for now, but I do think he's going to lose a little bit of that like supreme volume that he was getting over the past couple seasons. I think Dotson does make a pretty decent impact. All right, let's wrap up with some of these rookies. Let's go through a little bit of the guys that were drafted a little bit deeper and each just talk about one that we think could have the biggest impact. Q, start us off with the rookie running back you think could have the biggest impact that was drafted after those first few we talked about.
I don't have much insight on the guy I chose, but who'd I take? Zamir White from the Raiders, only because I think it's Josh Jacobs. They didn't re-sign him yet, and they may not. So they could be playing Zamir White enough to take that role for the next coming year. But that's just my assumption. So running backs, we saw Josh Jacobs do good receiving last year. Maybe, Zamir White could play a good role.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think
educated insight.
I think he could be pretty solid. And he was, he split time with James Cook, the Bills running back. So he's obviously got some talent. T-Gods, who do you got?
I am taking a Brian Robinson from the 49ers. There's only one reason I took this, and that's just because 49ers just cycle through running backs. That's just what they do. If they find out that he's good, then they'll pretty much just run him into the ground until he gets hurt and then get the next one. So the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. If Eli Mitchell goes down, he could be that next man up. You never know. They also have, I think they have another guy too. Not 100% sure.
They probably have like 6 that you don't even know about.
Jeff
but
Wilson.
You'll see him.
Oh no, Brian Robinson was the guy in. Brian Robinson was the Washington football team running back. Tyrion Davis Prince
doesn't matter.
You want to own?
That's
for San
fine.
Fran.
I didn't take him off name or stats or anything. I just took him because he plays for like the most run heavy team like ever.
Yeah.
It's all they do.
Tyrion Davis Prince is who you want. Brian Robinson.
You might not
probably
want him.
would avoid him.
You might not want him.
You might not want him. They still have Antonio Gibson and McKissick there, but he will get mixed in. I'm going to take Tyler Algier, not exactly 100% sure how to pronounce his name, but 5th round rookie for the Falcons. Cordell Patterson obviously played incredible last year, but at this point, he's obviously an aging guy who's not really a traditional running back, more of a pass catcher in general. Algier is more some of the running back himself. Senior season, he had 1,600 rushing yards, 5.8 yards per carry, and 23 rushing touchdowns. And I think he could add that pop that the Falcons need in the backfield. So he's someone I'd be targeting late in drafts as a flyer. Let's move on to the wide receivers. Same thing. Which do you think could have the biggest impact here?
I have some bias only because I drafted him in Dynasty this year. Would be where's he at? Oh, John Mechie from Houston. They only have Brandon Cooks as their number 1, and I forget who their number 2 is. Nico Collins, I believe. But as long as he comes back from the ACL, fine. I don't think he's practicing yet, but I think he could have some sort of. He's from Alabama. He went to Alabama, so he has to be good.
Yep, they do produce good wide receivers. I like that logic. T-Gods, who you got?
I took a Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants. Just because, like, really, who's doing anything on the Giants?
Tony, maybe.
If he doesn't try and like fight someone.
Yeah,
he's not even playing yet.
They've been trying to kind of get rid of him.
Yeah.
Galladay has been bad since he's got there. Shepard's always hurt. So
Again, it was nothing off of stats, nothing off of anything like that he's done in college. It's just like teams that like
opportunity.
have opportunity. They have rooms for stars. Like you never know. These people could just pop off.
Definitely. Yep.
I will piggyback off of that take and take Christian Watson as my guy to target late in drafts for sure. The Packers obviously lost Devontae Adams. Alan Lazard typically gets pretty banged up throughout the season. And Amari Rodgers, who they drafted last year early in the draft, also is pretty unproven. So Christian Watson obviously has a ton of room to take advantage of this. Drafted in the second round. I think he's a pretty solid wide receiver. I think he can prove that immediately, step up into a role. As long as he earns Aaron Rodgers' trust, he could easily be a solid flex option week in and week out.
And
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers always has a guy. Like he
Yeah.
had Jordy, he had
Cobb.
I was gonna say Randall Cobb, he had Devontae Adams. Like there's room for his guy. Someone's got to become his guy.
Greg Jennings.
Donald Driver, or is that too old?
I think he was there for a little bit. Rodgers. Rodgers been around forever, man.
Yeah.
All right. That's a wrap for the offseason recap. Q, let's do some fantasy trivia before we get out of here.
I don't know how pressed we are for time, so maybe we'll do like 4.
Sure.
They won't be long thinkers, but these questions can give you guys a massive lead. These could knock Matt out for the rest of the season if
Good.
you
I
guys
hate
do well.
Matt. He hates us.
And I actually picked a question that would try and get him no points, but he's not even here. So
Get him.
All
Save
right.
that one. Save that one then.
all
Save
right.
it for next week.
First question. So this player is actually one of the players that were moved this offseason to a new team. Who is the only player who has caught more touchdowns than everyone else on his team in each of the last 3 seasons? So I guess you can assume it's a wide receiver or a tight end. He was a player that moved to a new team this year.
And then he has more touchdowns in the last 2 seasons.
Than all of his teammates,
All of his new teammates.
old teammates.
Old teammates. Like current teammates that are on that old team.
Yes. I mean, like the last 3 seasons, whoever was on the team the last 3 seasons on his old team, he's caught more touchdowns than all.
I feel like this is too obvious. I feel like I'm wrong. Shit.
I'm good.
1 sec.
Sorry.
Let me think. All right, whatever. I'll just rock with it. What is it, Q?
It is AJ Brown.
Yeah.
You know Q's gonna ask the Eagles question.
I know.
Probably
That's
more
why I
than
wrote
one.
it. That's why I wrote it.
I tried to save it to 1. I thought that one was too good. All right. This is the question. It's not a hard question, but this is like a question that you can get a lot of points for. So it's like point per correct answer.
Okay.
And including the playoffs, who are the only 7 quarterbacks who've thrown for at least 50 touchdowns in a season? There are 7 of them. And you know all of them, and 3 of them are retired, but you still know who they are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7.
Including playoffs.
Including the playoffs, thrown at least 50 touchdowns in a season. Some of them have thrown it twice, but I'm not going to include any of that.
So 4 are active
Yes.
and thrown 50 or just have 50 total?
Thrown 50.
Like passing 50?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I can rule out Lamar.
Has he had 50 in a season?
He's pretty close. He was probably like 43 or something.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's not including playoffs. He was MVP.
Yeah. Yeah.
Active quarterbacks. Wait.
I need to start finding more fantasy questions, but I don't know. I wish I should have had a timer this year. I'll have to buy one.
Okay. I got one more I need to get.
I may have to put a timer for 18 seconds.
Need 18 seconds.
I don't know, dude. I need one more.
I need one more too. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's an active one. I can't get.
Sean's
Okay.
hacking, dude.
Oh wait, no, it's not. It's not an active one. I still have a retired one. Fuck. I just wrote the same person twice.
10 seconds.
Oh my god, who retired through 50 touchdowns?
I'm winging it. I'm good. I got mine. I hope I got at least 2.
Let's write. I'm just trying to think of anybody. Oh my god, I'm ready. Any bull.
All right.
So did I. I
changed it.
wrote any bull.
I changed it to any other bull.
No.
All right, pencil down. All right, so I'll do the retired ones first. Peyton Manning,
Wait. I got it. Hold on, good.
Peyton Manning, Drew Brees,
Got
and
that.
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. I wrote Kurt Warner.
The active players: Tom Brady, Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Matthew Stafford.
No.
I was gonna write Stafford. I put Matt Ryan because he's
You got
MVP.
5?
Yeah, I got 5.
All right.
I don't remember when he threw 50. It must have been
It was
Detroit.
probably last year.
Is that worthy of 1 point each or no? We have to
Yeah,
get all 7.
it's it's one per correct.
That's such a big thing on Matt, though. We can't do that. We get 1. We each get 1.
All right, one.
Because
I
we
guess.
tied. Only because we tied.
Yeah, Matt Stafford was probably last year too because he threw 41 in the regular season. That
Oh, I
includes
forgot the playoffs. I said that. All right. This one, we'll see how long it takes, but I'll put like a 1.5 minute timer on this one.
Okay.
So with Calvin Ridley being the being suspended for betting this season, Atlanta currently has 6 wide receivers on its roster who have caught passes in the regular season NFL games. Can you name any of them? A point
They
for
have
each
6 wide receivers on their roster. I didn't even know
that have caught
many.
an NFL pass.
I didn't even know they had
they
that
got-
many on their roster. Okay. We talked about a couple.
You guys know 3, maybe.
I have 3, and now I'm stuck.
Does Patterson count?
That's what I wrote.
It has to count.
I guess he'll count. So then they have 7. Well, we'll count him because I already said
Dude, I
he's
don't
These
not
know.
wide
I think
receivers
I
or
don't
tight
know.
ends or just wide receivers?
wide receivers.
Sean can just get the point.
I only have 2.
I
And they're
only
2
have
guys
2.
Well, not including Patterson.
Yeah, well, then it doesn't matter. You win.
All right. Well, who do you have?
I have Brian Edwards.
That's
No,
the one
he
I-
just-
That's the one I didn't have.
Oh, this
He-
must be an old question because I didn't have him on there.
Brian
But yeah,
Edwards clearly has one, but he was traded like 2 weeks ago. Olamide, Zacchaeus,
yeah.
Yep.
and Cordero.
Yeah.
Who else
Demir
is
Bird,
there? Oh, I
Auden
forgot they signed
Tate,
Demir Bird and Auden Tate. Auden Tate
Kadarius
was
Hodge, and Chad Hansen,
Literally never would have guessed those.
and
last
Hansen.
three.
Frank Darby.
Never would have guessed those last 3 in a million years. Like a million bajillion years. Frank Darby, are you
I
kidding
can give
me?
you one more question if you
All right.
want it. This is just a single answer.
All
None.
right, run it. Just finish it off.
What was the only team last year that didn't have a quarterback or wide receiver run for a touchdown? This was the only team where all the rushing touchdowns were scored by running backs. The rushing touchdowns.
Just rushing.
Yeah. Well, like they had passing touchdowns, but like all the rushing touchdowns were scored by running backs.
Okay.
And it's the only team that didn't have like a quarterback or a wide receiver, or I guess a
Locked it
tight
in.
end.
I locked it in already.
I'm
You know
impressed.
it? Like, you know it?
No. Well, I just guessed, but it kind of makes sense, my logic. I definitely don't know it. There could be so many. Oh, there's another one. All right, I'm just going to stick with my gut.
Give
I'm
me
gonna be
give me
pissed.
like 10 more.
You got it. You got it.
It's obviously not the Eagles.
Okay.
It is the New England Patriots.
What? Who'd you
What'd you
put? You
put?
got
I put the Falcons.
I guess Matt Ryan. I don't
He
remember.
probably had a sneak or something. I put the Colts.
Wentz easy would have had one.
He might have. I thought it was.
But
just
Mac
gonna be-
Jones isn't running it in for
like-
a touchdown.
I was like, Michael Pittman's not the guy that's running end arounds.
It's so
And I was like,
obvious now.
Jonathan Taylor's the goal line back. But yeah, it's so obvious, Mac Jones. All right, I got 3 points. You guys got 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Matt, 0.
Matt, big old donut to start the year. Nice one, Matt. That is a wrap for the off-season recap. Thanks for hanging with us for our first podcast back. We hope this helped give you some insight and jogged your memory on some of the moves that have happened throughout the last few months. Yet another wild and crazy offseason in the books. We will be back next week. Maybe not next week. In the next couple weeks for sure, with some more podcasts coming for you. We'll start our division series or some version of that where we'll go through each team. Got a lot of content coming for you. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to follow us at Super Fantasy Podcast, at Super FB Podcast. You'll find us. Just search for Super Fantasy Bros. That's a wrap. We'll see y'all soon. Matt will be back.
Peace.
Peace.